We're joined now by Jonathan Rolande, who runs a quick sale company, and consumer expert Dean Dunham. Good to see both of you. So, Jonathan, I'm sure you'll say that your company is beyond reproach, but are companies in general, do you think, taking advantage of people who feel financially vulnerable?
I don't think in general, but there certainly is a sector of the market that needs to be looked at. It's, until this OFT report, an almost completely unregulated sector of the market as well. So we welcome the fact that the OFT have looked at this and taking steps to stop that.
So you don't do things like reducing offers at the last minute, misleading offers, forcing sellers to sell quick and pressurising to make quick sales?
No, absolutely not.
And when you accept, Dean, that some of these companies actually do people a good turn, I mean, they get people out of a mess in many instances.
They do, and there's a place in the market for this, no doubt about it. And let's remember, the OFT report has said it's not the majority of the market. But unfortunately, like we always get with these situations where people are in desperate need for something, we've got companies that are not doing it right.
What about these contracts? You know, I mean, do you tie people up to contracts for long periods of time? Do you impose heavy penalties if they back out?
No, we don't use those at all. They're called option agreements, and actually it's something that, you know, I said to the OFT should actually be got rid of if possible at all, and actually the legislation hasn't gone quite that far as far as I understand.
But at basic, the principle of your company is, for you, the business benefit is to buy the house as cheaply as possible so that you can then sell it and make a profit.
Yes.
So there's always going to be, and I'm sure you're very good salespeople, there's always going to be a situation where the person, unlike an estate agent who's trying to get the best for everybody because their percentage is big, where they could be exploited, couldn't they? Particularly if they're not particularly financially clued up.
They could be, and that's why this OFT report is such a good thing.
It's in your interest for people to be a bit financially stupid, isn't it?
It's certainly in our interest to have a sustainable business. We don't want to get rich quick in this. We've been in it for a number of years and want to continue for many more years to come. So it's not really in our interest.
But you are targeting, not necessarily targeting, but you're profiting from desperate people, and that's the nature of your business. I'm not criticising, but that's the nature of it, isn't it?
Actually, a smaller proportion than you think are actually desperate or distressed, as it's called in this.
Do you think they could
Why
do
else
more?
would they come to you then?
Well, sometimes people just literally don't like dealing with estate agents, for example, which is ironic. I used to be one, of course. But that you've also got people who perhaps have inherited a property that they don't want out of the area. They don't want the maintenance. They don't want to have to, you know, pay council tax.
Could they be doing more? Could the industry, people like him, be doing more to clean up their act, as it were? I mean, he says his company is beyond reproach, and I have no reason to doubt that. But could the industry, could people like Jonathan be doing more to get rid of the bad boys?
Well,
and girls?
I think definitely. I mean, the industry needs to be regulated. We know there's some really bad practices going on. These option agreements have got to stop. They're an absolute joke. They have to stop. And the practice of lowering the price last minute as well has to stop. So yes, people like Jonathan can speak up for the industry. It seems like he is. This has to be regulated.
And if you find yourself in the position of wanting to make a quick sale and you do go to a company like this, what's the best way to insulate yourself against getting ripped off?
Well, you always have to get things in writing. So we're seeing many people who have paid for a valuation fee, paid for other types of fees, then they find the prices dropped, so they either lose their money or they go forward.
But that can happen in the real world, irrespective of these companies. I mean, you can be gazumped by anybody, can't you?
But people have to be saying, if you drop the price on me, I want my money back, as in for the fees. That they have to get that in writing.
Okay,
I
fair
would
enough.
actually go one step further and say don't pay any fees in advance, actually. That would be the thing. There are companies out there that don't charge for valuations or anything, so I would go with one of them.
Well, I hope that's clear.
Okay.
Thank you very much, each of the two of you.
Thank you.